I guess we'll just see.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to find out here in just a second. Looks like our players are getting ready now, and the map is going to be, as we expected, Cloud Kingdom.
All right, so Cloud Kingdom, the final destination between these two players. Let's see who's going to make it through. Is it going to be Bomber or Snute? Remember, this is losers round 6. The loser of this game is out of the tournament, unfortunately. The winner moves on to losers round 7, where they have one more game to play before they make it into the final bracket.
That's right, and that game is going to be played out against Creator Prime. That's certainly going to be quite the task. So both these guys have to be prepared, to play a top-level Protoss player afterwards. Creator, of course, taking second place at the Blizzard World Championships, and has been having a nice little resurgence of his own, which is odd to say given how young of a player he still is.
That's right. He's been playing very, very well at this tournament. Likewise with both of these players. Just waiting for the final observers to get in before we kick this off. Cloud Kingdom, I wonder if Snute, what's going through both of these players' mind? Is Snute going to capitalize on the way that Bomber's been playing this series out, which has been, of course, very economy-focused, very upgrade-focused? Is Bomber going to do something of his own here? I think that Bomber, considering the way that Snute plays, will be playing more reactionary than Snute will be for sure.
Now, this has been Snute's map historically to try and do something a little bit crazy on, so we'll see if that's going to be the case. Both our players are getting ready now, and the map is loading. Are you guys ready for the third game? Most people cheering, one guy in the front row not impressed. No, I'm not ready. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this here. Game number 3.
Welcome to IPL 5, Cloud Kingdom.
That's right, and down here at the bottom left-hand corner of the map, Cloud Kingdom, we have our Red Terran player from Startail. It is...
Startail Bomber.
That's right, and he is now tied 1-1, but this is his map pick. He's got to be feeling confident against his opponent. Up here in the top right-hand corner, our blue Zerg player from Gamers League, he is...
Team Gamers League Snute.
One of the last non-Koreans remaining in this tournament has been completely dominated by the best players in the world, which of course reside in Korea. This guy from Norway, can he do it against Bomber here on this final map?
You know, Bomber had a lot of options at the very beginning. This is a popular map for Proxy 2 racks. This is a popular map for a lot of crazy builds. But Bomber says, nope, I'm going to play something that's a little more according to my liking. And he's bypassing gas for now. Of course, he did open up with 15 gas, 15 orbital command last time. He kind of threw us off a bit. And there it is again, gas coming up on 15.
Yeah, that's right. And Snute gets wind of it straight away. And if you look at player patterns, for anybody that's been looking very, very close at this series so far, this is the first time that Snute's actually drone scouted. And that is because of what you said. 2-Rax is very good here. If you think about the way that Snute's been not scouting, Bomber could have thought about that and said, well, if he doesn't drone scout 2 games out of 3, is he going to do it on the 3rd? Am I going to 2-Rax him? Which is why we saw Snute decide to send out the drone. So very smart decision, thinking about the little things here, which obviously make the massive difference coming into this final game.
And if you notice, we took a look at the voting in game number 1. It was overwhelmingly in favor of Bomber, 57 to 43%. Now it's narrowed quite a bit. 52% say Bomber, 48% for Snute, so popular vote is starting to even up quite a bit as well. Now, Snute has not really done anything different for him so far. He's going after multiple queens, probably going to get 4 of those, end up double gassing. See if he goes for that quick layer again. That is going to be the real question. But back on Bomber side of things, still that same build we saw last time. He's got that reactor on his barracks, saving up his gas again, probably going to see that quick 3rd and a factory here in just a bit.
Yeah, just a super solid build from both players here. They're going to stick to the standard of what they, think that is the optimal build. And I wonder if Snute will, as I mentioned previously, I didn't think that Metropolis would be a map that we saw the Roaches use efficiently, which we didn't really see used as we did in Game 1.
Right.
Likewise on Cloud Kingdom, despite this smaller map like Ohana, this is a much more defendable map for tanks. Again, they can protect everything. They can protect the main, natural, and third just by hovering on the high ground alongside the main base. So I don't think that Snute will opt to do that, but I mean, surprises can happen.
Yeah, certainly, but otherwise nothing out of the ordinary for these two guys, and we'll see where they end up going with here in just a bit. But yeah, I mean, this is certainly an interesting map as you play towards the late game. There's a lot of spots for Broodlord and Fester to hide on the high ground, start picking off units and sieging up pretty effectively. The ridge in the middle is very cool because it can provide defenders advantage all the way in the middle of the map if people are willing to get out there and start taking advantage of that. And this is one of the maps where creep spread is especially important. You can very quickly actually deny a Terran player's fourth just by having very, very good creep spread at the beginning of the game. And we do actually have a Roach Warren coming up right now.
Only 3 queens instead of 4.
Yeah.
We have the Roach Warren coming down, and I think Snute, as mentioned, may try to capitalize on the fact that Bomber's been playing this 3 command center style. I think we may see a Bangling Nest follow this very shortly as well. Of course, the Roach Warren doesn't necessarily need to be for that. It could be just in case of any double reactor high plays or anything that Bomber tried to play. But I have a feeling that Snute's going to try it here as he's saving his lava. And as Roach Warren finishes, we're about to see a lot of roaches made, and he's going to go for it. He's going to go for it. Bomber, in just, you know, anticipation in the feeling of how this could map out, has a Marauder in production already, which is going to benefit him so much more than if he didn't have one.
Now, we're not sure how familiar he is with his opponent right now, but we did mention before that Snute loves playing very aggressive on this map. It works out for him very well. A lot of players do, but especially him. And we're going to see now as he has a lot of lings following this up, so big Speakling Roach attack. The Roaches are revealed, and Bomber's trying to get in and do a little bit of economic damage. He's already killed 3 workers, maybe going to snag a couple more here, and does before those are all cleared up.
How many were killed there? 4 in total were killed, but now he has to prepare back at home. Look at the factory. The siege tech is almost done. A tank is almost out. Bomber's saying, I will give up the low ground to protect what I have back at home. As long as I don't lose too many SCVs, he's going to have to time the SCVs perfectly to enter the main base. Behind this, we do see double evolution chamber and a third base because of how fast a reaction that Bomber was able to have. And let's see how many SCVs are actually going to go down here. He doesn't want to lose too many.
No, and it looks like he's going to lose this first bunker on the low ground and repair up this bunker on the high ground. He's actually already got that tank sitting around, which could actually move into siege mode, but no, just going to sit in its punk mode and DPS away at those units on the low ground.
And only 6 SCVs have gone down so far for Snute.
Yeah.
Not the most effective. 7 total. And now Bomber has a siege tank out, but behind this Snute is droning relatively heavily because he didn't commit too heavily to this. He has 50 drones out right now and is still building 4 more behind this.
But now Bomber has 2 tanks on the low ground. He can actually sit that command center. It's usually at this stage where you want to be sitting there, force that command center to lift, so you at least do a little bit more economic damage, even if you can't find a way to really pick away at the 3 command centers that your opponent has up. But he couldn't even do that. It sat there. It wasn't used for a couple of seconds, but it wasn't forced to float away, and Bomber dealt with that really effectively.
Yeah, Bomber dealt with it the best he physically could in that circumstance. Maybe 1 or 2 SCVs less, but that was pretty perfect. And he moves out immediately. This is a classic point of a good player. Moves out immediately, not looking to do too much damage here, realizing that I only have a bunch of Marines, they don't have stim, I have a couple of tanks, sure. He can pressure the third, but he's forcing so many lings to come out in retaliation to prevent the droning from going too insane here.
And we'll see if Bomber can put on any of that pressure, but yeah, you're right. 18 more lings joining the already incredible amount that he has on the field. Snute gets in a pretty good position and forces the tanks to fire on their own units there, and the tanks are taking some pretty considerable damage, but a nice job by Bomber to actually take out almost all those forces, retains one of the tanks and is able to start picking away at the queens too, so a nice job here, and he's still forcing out yet more and more and more Zerglings from his opponent.
Yeah, that was really well done, but good defense from Snute there, to be honest. The transfuse was great. He immediately expands, and both of these players are trading blows, saying, well, I'm going to attack, and then I'm going to do damage or defend it, and then expand. As you see, Bomber, after defending, went to attack. After Snute defended, he went to expand. So this is really, really good play from both players. This time, it's Bomber's time to defend.
Okay, we'll see if he can do just that. That's a lot of Zerglings that are starting to roll through, and they are actually just going to make it directly into the natural. Supply depot has not been raised yet. In fact, it's being trapped by a couple of units there, so the tank is actually going to fall, forces all the rest of the SCVs away too, so a nice little attack. Oh wow, the tank actually survives with just 16 hit points. Really well done though, and starting to be repaired up. Nice save by Bomber.
Yeah, equal units lost in terms of resources in this game, as both of them are trading small blows. This has been quite an aggressive game here. Both of them are fighting without the gloves on, and blows are being struck. But right now, the game will start to stabilize. It's kind of times pass for little small fights here as tanks will start to siege up, and the Marines will start to develop their upgrade. They do not have combat shields yet, which is a missing upgrade from Bomber. And that's definitely something that they will have to get shortly once this stim finishes.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. But the other upgrades are coming along pretty well. We once again see Snute really starting to work out on those bases, taking that 5th very early on, much like he did on Ohana. And, you know, it didn't end up working out for him because Bomber was able to hit with a really nice timing and keep pressure on one of those bases. But Snute, again, he's got good Overlord coverage. He picks up on this drop. Can he react to it appropriately?
Second factory is coming down from Bomber to start to increase the tank count, which is probably the smartest thing to do against a player like Snute, who is super aggressive, who likes a lot of link banelings. Just to increase the tank count is going to be very good efficiently, as we saw in his defense, map number 2. And this drop is going to actually go ahead and try to cancel this 5th.
Yeah, well, we'll see here. It may actually be able to do that because all the Zerglings were moved completely across the map. And that drop, well, never mind. It's not firing on anything, so probably not going to kill anything for a while. Yeah, I mean, he looks like he wants to defend as well. And looks like Zerglings are actually going to do quite a bit of damage here. He waits for the hatchery to finish and actually starts doing some pretty good damage. But at the same time, a lot of SCVs are being lost here. Snute has done some pretty significant economic damage.
Wow, that was actually really efficient there. 28 SCVs have been killed, pushing Bomber down to 52 compared to 87 drones. But Bomber did wait for the hatchery to finish before picking it up. This medevac shall fall, and the Lings will eat every single Marine.
Yeah, and Bomber's not going to find too much else with this drop once again. He's done his damage. He killed a hatchery. He got the 300 minerals for it. The one on the left didn't do so much, but he took enough economic damage that it's probably good for him to stabilize for a second. Now, again, we find ourselves in a situation, though. Snute has done damage, much like he did in Game 1. But because Bomber has been playing so well, just in terms of keeping his economy going, making sure that his macro is on point, he has the perfect amount of production structures at all times, he has still a magnificent force on the field. 52 Marines, 4 tanks, and he's double producing them.
And I love the style that Snute uses. A very high drone count means that he can consistently rebuild an army at all times, has a very high income, and is about to pop out 9 infestors, which should be enough to prevent that push out, but not before it gets in position, that's for sure. Bomber's going to have the high ground.
Bomber's going to have the high ground, but he's not going to have a defense right away against these 13 Banelings that started down in the bottom right-hand corner, and they're actually making their way into the 4th right now. What's here to defend this? Nothing at all, just one bunker with 1 unit inside. The SCVs not getting trapped. They are able to make their way away.
And, well, this assault from Bomber is on that 3rd base. These Marines and Banelings are finally getting destroyed. Nice target fire onto that Baneling there to make sure that the Lings will eventually die behind it. And Bomber holds his 3rd while doing damage to Snute's 4th. Remember, this is the last. This is the game to decide who moves on and who doesn't, as Bomber comes charging down on this hatchery.
Yeah, and these infestors are just being torn down. There's only 3 with enough for a fungal there, and the reinforcements keep swarming in for Bomber now, who's effectively put pressure on this 4th base. He's actually bypassing it for now and continuing to siege up on the 3rd because he knows he's done his damage. That base is going to fall despite what Snute may be able to do.
The tank spread is so good here. A lot of kills are going down for these tanks. They are not going to be taken down easily, and Snute is buying as much time as he can to build the right army to get enough energy to use. The Banelings detonate on a handful of Marines in the front. They do a lot of damage there. Snute is going to come from behind, but he is going to be greeted by a lot of Marines that are trailing. Is Bomber going to be able to keep this push forward?
And the infestors are just doing nothing. They all evaporate. I don't even know if there's any left on the map. There are not. There's just 50 Lings and that's it, but the tank line continues to push on forward. Now, without any Marine cover here, the Zerglings are eventually going to be able to move up and take this out, yes, but Bomber has done his damage. Now, the real advantage, though, is that Snute did reestablish his 5th base over on the right-hand side and a 6th in the top left. So he still has hatcheries that he can fall back on. He still has good mineral income, but will it be enough to continue fighting this tide back? Because Bomber, I don't think he's actually put down a 4th command center yet.
No, he hasn't yet. He's just continuing to push units across the map, and he doesn't really know if that base on the right-hand side has been rebuilt or not. He killed it earlier on, but it is there. It is giving Snute an income. It is giving Snute the ability to keep on making units, which he is doing consistently. And with Bomber splitting or sending most of his units out, he has hardly anything left to defend, and he is going to start to lose more and more units. The SCVs turn around and fight, and every single one goes down, yet to remain.
So Bomber had taken all that time just to be able to get back up to about 60 SEVs, and now he's immediately back down to 44, half that of his opponent. So Snute's economy is still very well developed. That base off to the right, it can't be stated how much that's actually providing him a benefit right now as it keeps his mineral income in this. Yes, his gas is a little bit down, but he's doing a pretty good job, a pretty effective job of continuing to flood the field with Zerglings and holding back this tide of units.
Yeah, these backstabs are so good from Snute, and he's setting up another one right now with 16 more Lings on the way. Snute is looking to clamp victory here against Bomber. Is it going to be possible?
I don't know, but we're going to find out as the Baylings don't really connect against the Marines all that well, but the tanks were isolated from the rest of the Marine cover, so they died pretty quickly, but the reinforcements for Bomber are pushing in once again.
There is a
what
fungal.
does Snute have to deal with it? One fungal, yes, but he can't follow it up with any Zerglings.
That's right, 34 on the way though, as well as the upgrades for the Zerglings. The Bailing detonates, but they keep on coming. Bomber's Marines never stop, and they've broken the high ground. They're going to get to the third base, which is going to slow down the income of Snute. He's going to try and hold on to this location as much as possible, and he has to keep hitting his love objects. He has to keep making units, and because he's focusing so heavily on Lings in this, he's able to squeeze out 5 Infestors, which could be the turning point here.
But look at that stream of red across the map. Bomber is just reinforcing with so much stuff. He kills another base. He runs into the main now with 2 medevacs full of units, and Snute has to be able to defend up at the front, but if he ignores the what's happening inside of the main, he's going to completely lose all of his tech.
Oh, this is close. This series has been down to the wire every single time. Here's the medevacs do 4 Lings get in there, and Bomber is going to finally get pushed out here, but will Snute have enough to defend here? Oh, he's going to fungal on the ramp, and he gets a handful, not all of them, but a good amount, but the 3 Infestors get slaughtered down as Bomber finally finds out about this base, which has been keeping Snute in the game.
That's right, and that was really what was keeping Snute in there, but now it's found out, and those 5 Marines are going to be able to decimate everything around the side. Zerglings do a nice job of picking off the first couple of tanks, but even with the drones coming off the line, they're just running into the slaughter.
Oh, dearie me, as +3 is soon to finish for these Marines as well, and Lings come to help out the drones, but Bomber may have done it with being able to access that third base. Snute's income is dropping. He's not being able to build the 30 Lings over and over and over, which he was being able to previously. 5 more Infestors are in the way, but Bomber has accessed another base here. Snute can't physically lose it. If he does, then he has no income.
That's right. So now he's running up with the Zerglings, but look how well those upgraded Marines are chewing through those units. And the Infestor's getting a little bit too far forward, and the tank does its work, picking those off pretty efficiently. Down goes this base for Snute, and maybe his chances in this game.
Yeah, this is going to be really difficult. Snute sent some drones to the top left to try and salvage a bit of income here, but 15 Marines at a time. His Bomber's natural command center is actually on the way to the 4th here, so he's going to keep on building units, and Bomber's macro is carrying him through to another victory if he keeps going, and Snute is becoming less and less likely to win this game with the last couple of fungals. Bomber stims Marines with +3 now. They're going to do a lot of damage, and Bomber's going to make his victory march up to the natural.
Oh, and he can't quite kill those siege tanks either, so they will be able to get off a few shots. Look at all those units. Look how low they are. If the Queens could turn around, they could pick all of those off with just 1 shot apiece, but it's not enough. There are the mules from Bomber. He feels confident now. He's pressing in for the kill.
Yeah, he's pressing in for the kill. He wants to move on, and right now the Marines are standing strong with hardly any hit points left. A bunch of Lings come, but with the reinforcements. Look at the stream of Marines that keep on coming here, and Bomber's dancing his Marines while being fungaled as Snute laughs at that, and Bomber seems to have done it. He's broken through. GG.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Bomber avenges his teammate life. He knocks out Gamers League Snute from the tournament, and he's moving on into his best matchup to play Creator Prime.
That is right. So we'll see if Bomber can keep on going in this tournament. He's gone through 6 opponents in a row in the loser bracket, having lost earlier on yesterday to the STC in the winners. And well, unfortunately for Snute, that is his tournament coming to an end.